I am going to give you 30 seconds to guess what amazing contraption is hidden away inside this mid-century trolley. Hey, I'm Cole, and when it comes to furniture restorations and makeovers, I am a repeat offender. The fanciest tool I own is a cordless drill. Being a dad to this cool dude is my most favourite thing to do, and I've chosen to believe that if I skate often, surely I'll remain forever young. Speaking of four wheels, let's get back to today's project. I am very excited to show you what I have here. Oh, how I wish this was mine, but it's not. It belongs to a fellow furniture enthusiast who I met through Instagram, and he happens to live in my village. He picked up this epic find from the Facebook marketplace. Slightly jealous that he got to it first. Sadly, I've been pretty hard pressed to find anything about the history of this piece online, so if you happen to know anything about it, please absolutely let me know in the comments. Really eager to find out some more about it. The detail is incredible. The way all of this magic is hidden away and comes to life once you open the lid absolutely blows my mind. It is such a beautiful and clever piece of history. It has some watermarks, scratches, damage to the veneer, and the finish is pretty sad all over. But it's all there, the contraption is in perfect working order, and this piece deserves to look its very best. So I'm going to do what I can to give it that chance. I'll take apart what I can. I'm not gonna lie though, I am a little nervous about all the static and moving parts. Taking it apart is one thing, but putting it back together can be very challenging. I soon realised this piece can't be removed. It can't go through the bottom as there's a drawer and other casing in the way, and it can't come through the top unless I remove this mechanism, and that is not going to happen. It works so well as it is, and me tampering with it could end in disaster, so I'm just going to work with this piece as it is. It is now time to get stripping. Not too sure about anyone else, but I have a bad habit of whistling while I work. That becomes an issue when I'm trying to film. Generally, I will just edit it out. But I thought today, why not let you listen to this song and see if you can guess what it is, and we'll see how good or bad my whistling technique is. And that's me realizing that I've been whistling and need to stop recording. Please tell me that someone recognized that that was Radioactive by Imagine Dragons. Let me know. There are a few watermarks that need attention, so I'm just using some Barkeeper's Friend to hurry those along. It has oxalic acid in it, so it should help those watermarks disappear. I leave that to soak for a few hours, and I use hot soapy water to thoroughly wash down the rest of the unit and make sure I remove all of the stripper residue. These casters are in good working condition, they just need a bit of a tidy up. So I'll use a little rub and buff to give them a bit of a shine. I don't want to go overboard, just enough to freshen them up. I use some rust remover gel to get rid of the rust off this mechanism. I let it soak in for about 20 minutes and then wipe it off, and that does a pretty good job. And it's now time to fix all of the issues with the veneer. There are a few areas where it's lifting away at the seam, as you can see here, so I use some wood glue and a very fine syringe. I flatten it down with a scraper and I use a little heat to speed the process up. This means I can avoid a clamp to try and hold the veneer down while it dries. I've used some water here on the right so that I can see what colour the veneer is roughly going to be once I add the finish. And I've got a furniture marker that's roughly the same colour, so I start with that, and I'll always come back to my patches after applying the finish and blend them further if needed. It was Sunny's second birthday, so we jumped on a train into London and went to the aquarium, which is fantastic if you ever get the chance to visit. Now I want to take this opportunity to tell you about something very exciting that my wife and I are working on. We've just this second uploaded our first video on our new YouTube channel, Sophia and Cole. It is a vlog style channel featuring home DIY, food, travel, thrifting, all sorts of stuff. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to take a look. If you enjoy that kind of content, we would very much appreciate you checking it out. I sand the whole piece down with 220 grit sandpaper, and then I apply some hard wax oil. I do 2 coats of this. After washing off the barkeeper's friend, you can see it's done a really good job of removing the stains, and I can now go over it with hard wax oil as well. It's now time to work on all of the internal components, and there are plenty of them. So I start with stripper to get rid of the finish, and again I use hot soapy water to thoroughly remove what's left of the stripper before moving on to stain. I later on regret using stripper on this piece, and you'll see why shortly. The finish on these pieces aren't too bad, and it's all pretty tidy, so I just used some Restorer finish to bring it back to life. I'm now just staining these pieces to add a little contrast. I was going to stain this larger piece as well, but I think the contrast between this trim here and the natural colour of this wood will actually be quite nice. and I am very relieved that I didn't stain it, because as you can see, the grain is absolutely beautiful and it's popping so nicely once I apply this oil. And again, these pieces are really tidy, so I just give them a quick makeover with some Restore Finish. Now back to these things. You can see to get under these wires was so difficult, so there is still a lot of residue left under there. So I used some denatured alcohol to help me chip away at that. It's a very slow process, but it did work. I probably spent about an hour really cleaning these up before applying stain and hard wax oil. You can see the difference, not perfect, but definitely a lot better than it was. I do the same process to the lid of the unit, sand, stain, hard wax oil. I allow 8 hours for the hard wax oil to dry, and then I go over everything with a coat of premium beeswax. I apply the wax, wait about 30 minutes, and then I come back and buff to a satin finish. While I attempt to put everything back together, I just want to thank you very much for tuning in. If you've been here before, thank you very much for your continued support. And if you're new here and you've enjoyed this video, perhaps a subscribe isn't out of the question. A like, a comment, watching my other content, it all helps me on my YouTube journey, so thank you very much. And as mentioned earlier, if you want to check out my wife and I's new channel, Sophia and Cole, I'll leave a link in the description. We would love to know what you think. So until next time, take it easy.